What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Arrow After Show here at theStream.tv. Holy moly. First of all, quick shout out to MLCity.net and Stan Lee's Kamikaze with us all year long. Yeah, we'll raise the roof. We've got a secret weapon on the show, and I'm excited to talk about that. Here with me is Carolinga Bonetti.
Hi, guys.
And Linda Antwi.
Hi.
I'm Adam Kruger, and Olivia's still out of town. She'll be back for our huge Flaro crossover event that's coming up in 2 weeks. But so, okay, we're gonna get into secret weapon situation in just a little bit. But first, let's just talk Andy unmasked. Let's go there. So we find out right at the top of the show, basically, that Andy's alive. We knew from the trailers ahead of time, but let's discuss.
I love that the showrunners picked that as the opening sequence because they've been building up to it for so long that I'm glad that it wasn't the end reveal of the episode and then it was the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was really all about, like you're saying, Carolina, all about the brotherly love and that relationship. And
the lack of.
Well,
he's
obviously,
so angry.
Well, very angry, but he also loves his brother, right? He loves him so much, that's why he's so angry. So, yeah, it was great.
Let's talk about how it kind of comes up, because Diggle obviously tells Oliver about how Andy was basically a criminal. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of have that situation where he's basically saying, listen, you know, this is the deal. And so it's kind of setting him up to basically say, hey, we can all let this go now because he was a bad dude. But then, of course, they have to, they go to break into the lab.
Sure, and they discover the pills and everything else that's going on, and they get him. What I thought was interesting for me about the unmasking is Diggle's reaction. He has the complete opposite reaction that Oliver would have. Oliver would be like, "What's wrong? Let me help you. We got to chase him down. I can't go back to the lab. It's my brother. I got to go get him." Like Oliver would have never let him out of his sight off that like first frame. So it was really cool to get to see the episode where it's a family member in question and they're not completely blindly rushing after someone because Diggle's like, "No, like he made these bad choices and I don't know who my brother is anymore." And basically saying like, I don't have your hero complex, Oliver. Like maybe he deserves what he's getting, which was kind of nice to see. It was a good devil's advocate.
It was refreshing.
I thought it was a little weird too, though, because here you're taking Damien Dark's word that your brother's a bad dude. And then you also know that he's influenced by those same drugs. It's like, you gotta think, well, maybe I should just take a step back and not be so angry and maybe believe that my brother is who I think he is. Do you know? So it's that dual sword.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to kind of throw this out there. So Diggle obviously shoots the ghost that turns out to be Andy. And then he tries to ID him, right? Like, did anyone feel like that was a little bit, like, was that done in a strange way, or were we kind of there? Did it feel set up, or what? Or were we happy with that whole scenario?
I mean,
what did you guys think?
It was a little set up, but there's only so much you can expect for it to always like be dead on or surprising. So the setup was kind of expected. I mean, it's a superhero show.
Yep.
It's gonna have unmaskings. If you were surprised, you should watch more superhero shows.
Right.
Fair enough. Just wanted to throw it out there. So Andy's alive, Darkh is a liar, which is
Surprise,
shocking.
surprise.
Yeah, great. Okay, so the Dark Queen showdown. Let's discuss that one real quick. So obviously Oliver gets threatened by Damien Darkh in his new mayoral situation. Let's talk about that scene.
I loved it. The intellectual fight versus the physical fight. You know, this time we're seeing both of the intellects and both of them being super smart and wanting to save the city and wanting to take the city. It was fantastic to me. It was like refreshing to see the other side of it.
For me, I loved it because Damien's sitting there threatening him, and you know, Oliver, in true Arrow fashion, is like, I'm not gonna kowtow to you. I'm not about to back down just because you have a different opinion than me. And then Damien, typical bully fashion, is like, well, if you won't take what I'm saying, you're not gonna be running unopposed, which was pretty awesome because I feel like we'll finally get to see Oliver come out on top because he keeps getting his butt handed to him by Darkh every time they fight in a physical sense because of all the magic that he's been using. So it's really nice to see him like, you know, have some balls and hold his own and be like, no, I'm not going to back down to you just because you're threatening me. That doesn't scare me. And it's also not the first threat Oliver's been with. He's been in much worse situations, as we're seeing with all the island flashbacks.
Very true. Very
and
true.
I was just thinking, like, we discussed it earlier while we were watching the show. What do you guys think? Do you think that Damien actually knows that Oliver is the Green Arrow? Like, we're split here.
I was actually just about to bring that up because, you know, Oliver obviously knows who Damien Darhk is. We know this. And the way he's playing it is totally just like, yeah, I'm just going to be Oliver Queen. You have no idea I'm the Green Arrow. But does he?
I don't think so, because he's so manipulative. If he knew that he was the Green Arrow, he would have been targeting his family, Felicity. He would have been doing so many other things to make Oliver's life so much worse for him. He genuinely doesn't know who the Green Arrow is. Otherwise, we'd be seeing a very different TV show.
I'm on the fence. I think that he might know, and I think it plays into that whole intellectual fight that they're having, because they're having an intellectual fight. They're also having a physical fight. So I think they're playing a game against each other to see who's going to outwit who.
Like cat and mouse. I think it's one of two things. One, Damien Darhk is a criminal mastermind. He's a genius. We know this, right? Mm-hmm. He's doing all these things. He's, you know, seeing moves 14 steps ahead of everybody else. So could it be possible, I'm just going to throw this out there, that he does know, and he's trying to use it in a way where, you know, the whole I'm not going to let him know that he knows that we know he knows type situation, which gets kind of convoluted. But at the same time, it could be that he's just really just trying to see if Oliver will join forces with him for fake and then try to exploit that to his own benefit instead of going at it from going after the family perspective.
It's
what
like
do you
a
think?
chess match.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, going off of what you're saying, I think that when we saw them initially face off, he did not know who Oliver Queen was. He didn't know that that was the Green Arrow. But at the end, when Queen gave that very, like, moving, hard-ass kind of mayoral sentiment over not giving up his river cleanup, I think that Damien's starting to get the inkling, or he's positive that he knows, because he was saying a lot of things that he's said to Damien before as the Green Arrow.
There you go. So maybe he didn't know at the beginning, and then he's figuring it out.
I think he opened up a can of worms on himself.
Oliver.
Yeah, by being
I can
that
see
righteous.
that. I mean, you saw Damien Dark's nostrils flare. I mean, he was ready. He was practically foaming at the mouth, ready to like jump Oliver on stage right there at the pulpit, just ready to, you know, take him down. So okay, so there was no magic in this showdown this time. This was all a battle of intellect. Guys, just so you know, we're live, so tweet at us using the hashtag #ArrowAfterShow, or you can hit us on the live YouTube chat. If you guys have theories, questions, comments, whatever, we're gonna hit those in just a little bit. But right now, I want to talk about the bait being taken. So obviously, it's Captain Lance talking to Damien Darhk, and the whole cat and mouse thing about trust being an orchid and a delicate flower, and then the sticky note that's left out. Yeah, I mean, Lance took the bait, right?
Like an idiot. It was literally like taking candy from a baby. Damien Darhk couldn't have set that up any easier. He was like, I'm going to give you this whole trust talk. I'm going to tell you about killing you like freaking flower. And then I'm going to leave a Post-it note right where you can see it. Of course it was a setup, and then the two idiots go because Captain Lance really should have recognized, like, hey, he just threatened me. I should probably let this piece of advice, like, float, just not put it out there, leave that alone. Because the second they got there, and Andy himself even called it from the roof, like, get the green one, Damien knew. Damien knew they would come.
It was the smile.
No doubt. Oh, totally.
It was the smile.
That evil,
right when they were there.
Wicked, like, I'm going to kill you and have, like, in all my dreams, creepy children killing smile of his.
It was like a play, too. It was like he had all his minions lined up, and he was just waiting for his audience. Because he knew the audience was going to come because he knew Lance was going to open his big fat mouth. So it was sad to see, like, you know, the captain of the police force be so taken by something that was so simple. It's always going to be bait. It's bait. Duh.
He's just trying to do good, and I think that it's one of those things where they're building more and more evidence to the fact that it's going to be Lance in the grave, I think, at the end of the season. However, they're also building more and more towards the fact that we're going to be totally shocked.
We are going to be totally shocked.
Very possibly. Very possibly. I want to talk about that moment that we just kind of glossed over about Andy saying, kill the green one, because we know he's a bad dude from the files. We know at the end of the episode when Diggle confronts him that, you know, he said he did it all. There's ulterior motives, I think. There's a lot of layers in there, but obviously I think it's very telling when he says, kill the green one. What do you guys think?
I mean, from when we saw him lining up the soldiers and giving them those yellow pills, which I really want to know what they are, he never says he's having, like, absolute mind control. It's just a tool for compliance. So these people are you know, they are acting out of their own free will. The difference is they're more compliant and like available to listening to what he's saying without questioning it. At no point does he say, I'm ruling them with an iron thumb. They did volunteer and come out of their own free will. So that's what the drug is acting on.
What if? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm thinking, what if you know, Andy Diggle was a bad guy involved in the drug trade. Damien Darhk found out, but actually no. Let me change that. What if he was undercover? What if he was undercover? Damien Darhk found out, knew who his family was, and basically said, "Listen, you have to, come over here, or I'm going to kill your entire family. I'm going to kill your kid. I'm going to kill your wife. I'm going to kill your brother. I'm going to kill his wife. I'm going to kill everybody if you don't comply." And now maybe Andy's trying to push John away because he knows that if he switches over, he's going to get his whole family killed.
And I was think about when we saw him in that last scene in the cage, and he doesn't ever make eye contact with his brother, and he's been gone for 8 years? That long. Obviously, he's trying to protect his family. He's trying to protect his brother. Maybe. And I think that if he made eye contact with his brother, they would know, because that's your family. You know that you're lying. Yeah, maybe I'm a bad guy, or maybe I'm undercover, but maybe I'm not really a bad guy, and Damien Darhk has control of me, and in my weird way, I'm protecting you and my family, my immediate family.
Just a thought.
My thought was going to be that, yeah, but I think there's going to be I agree with what you guys are saying, but I also think there's going to be a really big divide, because at the end, when Diggle gave that to Andy and was like, is all this true? The way he looked at it and sent it back to him and was like, yeah, it is true. Looked at him almost as if like, I've done so much for you and you believe this crap. Like, that's actually like what you're coming at me with. So it's like 8 years of like people thinking you're dead and this and that. So if your theory is true and I were Andy, I would be on the other side of that anger. The way Diggle was mad at him for being a bad guy, Andy would be mad at Diggle for believing any of that crap was possible for even a second.
Well,
and
but
not
hold on a
believing that
second.
there was
He
something
did just
else underneath it.
he did just capture him as a ghost from Damien Dark's hive. So, there is a little bit of leeway that he would have to give his brother for believing that stuff, because he's at least seeing this, right? Just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, if you're that tight with somebody and that close, especially your brother, like, I'm super close with my cousin, and if she did something crazy, I think my first reaction would be like, no, there had to have been a reason. It's out of her personality.
Right.
So just from that writing standpoint, also it would make for a good show. I feel like that would be a good angle to see. What do you guys think?
It would be, yeah, let us know what you guys think. Anyways, so Len's taking the bait, definitely not his brightest moment. Let's move on to getting Andy back. Obviously, the operation that did this, which, Diggle's against it at first. I mean, I know I don't want to cover the same ground too much, but he was against going to save his brother ahead of time. We kind of skipped ahead to the end, but I mean, for a guy to be basically like, he's been, he's dead to me. We talked about the juxtaposition of Oliver never giving up, and then Diggle kind of just being like, nope, not going to do it. Like, how do we feel about that? Do we hate that he was against it? Do we love that he was against it? Do we understand it? I know you thought it was refreshing to see him kind of ready to put it to bed, but
I think that he had the struggle. I think he was struggling with his own feelings with his brother, thinking he's a bad guy, and now knowing that he's not dead. So I think that was a great way to see that internal battle. So when he's like, no, I'm not going to be a part of it, I just think he was not ready, and he didn't want to be a part of it. And then realized at the end when he's like, well, I'm here for my brother, my other brother, the Green Arrow brother, that just like melted my heart.
I saw that coming a mile away when he
Loved
was like,
it.
I'm here for my brother, and I was like, he's talking about Oliver. He's not talking about Andy.
Talking about Andy. Okay, so let's talk about Thea, because she comes on this mission. She's obviously just ruined the first, it was a first date from hell where she almost killed a guy in front of her date, which, I mean, I just have to say as an aside, if I'm out on a date with a girl, which, hi, married, so never going to happen again except for my wife, but if I'm on a date with a girl and she almost kills a guy, I'm not going back for a second date, which he did.
I feel like it's a great icebreaker.
Well, or a glass breaker for that matter, because the guy did go through the glass. But so this happens, and then she comes on the mission, and she's got a sword now, Thea. Let's discuss this. Obviously, she should be more in control. She should be letting them know what's happening, and she's not. What do we think about it? Can you believe that? I mean,
I feel like we're seeing Speedy switch into full ninja mode with Next time we see her, she's gonna have like the double katanas, like in
Yes.
Mortal Kombat. She's gonna just start going after people.
And the
Yes.
throwing
I
stars,
would
too.
love that, especially if like right before she kills them, she has a Xena warrior princess cry.
You were waiting
Throw
for
it back to
You
nostalgia.
were waiting for it.
It won't happen. I probably just pissed off like so many fans. I'm sorry, but I think it would be funny if they did that.
So okay, but Oliver has hope, and they're not giving up. So they go after Andy, right? Mm-hmm. So that's that. Let's talk about the secret weapon. This is what I've been waiting to talk about. I'm like, let me get to the secret weapon part. I need to. So we rally the troops, right, to save Andy. Let's
Yes.
discuss that real quick because I thought that was a pretty phenomenal scene. I thought the fight scene was amazing. What did you guys
Yeah,
think?
shout out to James Bamford for, directing this episode because it was all action packed, and I always like a fight scene, and he killed it, nailed it, loved everything about it.
It was really
Everything.
fun. It was his first
Director-
time directing
yeah.
too, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
good for him. He did a good job.
Great job.
It flowed well, and it was super action packed. It felt like we were watching a mini action movie for
Yeah,
this whole thing, which was
exactly.
fun.
It really did. I thought it was amazing. First of all, also Ray came back. That was great to see him find his confidence again.
Yeah.
And
Wait, and speaking about Ray, when did he learn to fight? Because last season he was having a hard time punching somebody, and he was kicking butt left and right on that rooftop. And I was like, where did this come from?
Maybe
you
in the
don't want to
box.
come
I was
back.
gonna say.
I was like, I know
Ray in the
he
box.
spent all that time in the box, just like
Practicing.
mini ninja whooping
Yes.
butt on
Maybe
what?
that's-
The glass?
you never
Just
know.
himself.
Maybe he was just just training with his. I mean, I guess
He
he could
was
use a
on
bag of
YouTube
peas.
You know how
watching
you could
Ninja
do-
101 on
You know how you
his
can
like
do air
mini
guitar?
computer.
You can do like air fight now, like ninja fighting with yourself. I think it's the same thing.
That is a very good point. But again, I'm going to call back to what you said earlier. It's a superhero show.
I
so
know, so you gotta enjoy
You got to
it.
suspend your disbelief just a little bit, especially since the fact that he was the size of a peanut, like last week. So he's back to size. But I loved watching the fight scene with Thea and Andy. And the other guy too. She takes out two dudes, and then, and I know we're building to a crescendo here. She takes out two dudes, and she actually controls the bloodlust. She doesn't kill Andy. I thought that was pretty
Which was
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah,
Mhm.
'cause
I
he
love
was-
that.
He was coming at her full force,
Yep.
like knife fight
Yep.
through the.
The second that she pulled that sword out, I was like, oh,
It's
she's
over.
totally going for
Yeah.
the kill.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I was like,
Or like a really bad injury that was going to end up putting him in a coma, hospital. Like I thought it was going to go somewhere really
Like he was
dark.
going to be dead for real, dead, like done.
yeah, sorry, buddy, your brother's alive. Nope, he's dead,
dead.
now.
Yep.
in critical condition.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
so-
he'll make it.
So then, of course, after she knocks out Andy, and then they're trying to, get her carried away. To me, this is the moment of the episode that just totally blew it away. She faces down with Damien Darhk, who calls her Merida, which I thought was great. It was a nice little Disney call back right there. But so she faces down with him, and he puts his hands on her to try to suck the life force out, and it doesn't work. It's reversed, and you see his face start to turn the colors that normally happens to the other person,
was-
and my mind
And-
was blown.
And you see how freaked out he is. Like he normally is that stone face, and you see him freak out. Like, what is happening here? I
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah, he
The
totally
reveal,
loses
I loved it.
Totally lose it. He's like, this usually works.
Yeah, what's happening here? Who is this? And then the Lazarus. Oh my God, I have so much to say. I'm too excited.
No, say it,
so
say it,
the
say it.
Lazarus pit. We don't know all because we don't. First of all, I want to say we don't know all of Damien's powers, right? And now with the Lazarus pit, we don't know all the effects on Thea, and so I think we're now slowly starting to see that it's not all that it seems, right? So besides her like lust and wanting to kill everyone, she might be the secret to everything. She might be the secret to everything. I love it.
That's what I'm thinking. First of all, I mean, you've got bloodlust and you've got blood magic, and so I think that maybe something happens in the pit where it's a soul energy situation, and maybe the blood magic doesn't work on someone who's been resurrected from well, we know that that's the case, but maybe that's what it comes down to. It's magic.
I'm just going to say a couple things. So awesome for Thea for withholding her bloodlust, but she did that before that whole showdown with Damien Darhk. So she actually had her bloodlust under control on her own. She didn't kill him, all on her own, and then that thing with Damien Darhk happened. And then as far as his powers, I don't know if you guys ever watched Teen Titans. But I went back to it and I watched it a little bit. It's a little bit younger than what I usually like to watch, but I went back and watched it because he is the main character and I wanted to know more about him. And Damien in Teen Titans is kind of unmasked as like a big like master of disguise. He doesn't actually have magical powers in Teen Titans. It turns out that he has like all of the scientific information that he uses to have magic like powers that are actually all based on like scientific technology. So they are limited. And then once that's unmasked, the Teen Titans kind of like can take him out. So I'm interested to see if they're going to play that storyline into Arrow, since they have brought him on as one of the main villains and he is the TT's like big baddie. So I don't know if you guys watching the show watch Teen Titans or what you think, but I just recently got into it because Damien is kind of like the star baddie and I wanted to see where that went with them outside of the comics because they're using so much mixed material for him on this show.
I mean, I want to say that it's kind of already been established where, you know, where he cuts his arm open and he's using blood magic. So I want to say that there is going to be more of a mystical element. However, I think that, you know, with the box and everything,
I was going to say the
think,
circuitry box,
yeah,
because then it leads to what you were saying about him using technology.
I think it's going to be meshed. I think it's going to be both. And so which makes him, I think, even more dangerous, don't you? You know, that means that he's now got not just the technological know-how, but the magic as well in him, which is crazy. Now, I love the fact that I think that Thea's the way out. She is the secret weapon, and she does talk to Malcolm about it, and she says that, you know, the bloodlust kind of went away after this sort of thing happened with Damien and Darkh. The question is, how is Thea going to do this? So I think there is a way out of the darkness. Guys, let us know what you think. Hit us up on YouTube on the live chat right now. You can tweet at us using the hashtag #ArrowAfterShow. We just got totally lost in a conversation about insanity, and I love this. So we're going to be right back with your questions, your comments, and everything like that just after this. And we also have a really cool
shout out for you guys. We have
a cool shout out. We'll just leave it at that, and we'll see you just in a minute.
All right.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, this is for you.
I love it. That was freaking
Oh my God.
I didn't see any of this coming. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah?
I was like,
How did you get here? No.
like, kill him. Kill him. Definitely kill him. We're cool. Shade. Shade left and right, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, let's put your 2 cents in.
Rubbed me the wrong way and the right way.
but you were like, well, we want to know what's gonna happen.
That was killed.
We just want to say we love you all. Thank you so much for your support. You are all seriously the best in the world. and we
Another
appreciate
beautiful
you so
summer
much.
at theStream.tv, y'all.
Here we go, guys.
Thank you for being here. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining us. Once again, you can tweet at us using the hashtag #ArrowAfterShow and join the YouTube live chat, which actually right now with some live YouTube shout-outs, we have Carolina.
Yeah, so actually not a YouTube shout out, but a Twitter one for my really good friend Eugene Bird, who plays Andy. I'm so happy for him. Some of you guys might know him from Bones. He's been one of my closest friends for like 4 or 5 years. And I hunted down these pictures. We did a prom pic shoot as a joke for our friend's goodbye party. We did this big album for her. She moved to New York. And these were some of the funny outtakes from that party. But follow Eugene on Twitter at Voodoo Daddy. He's really funny. And if you love bourbon and whiskey and tequila, he travels a lot and always posts pictures of his favorite drinking spots in every city.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Eugene, you're doing a bang up job.
He's
so
really
far,
sick.
so-
Yeah, he's really sick. Otherwise, he was actually going to make a video for you guys. But he has pink eye and kind of the stomach flu, so wish Eugene well.
We do.
Feel better.
We absolutely do. Now everybody knows about the pink eye and the stomach flu. He's not happy anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Good photos. We're happy. We love it. Let's do some YouTube shout outs.
Yes, I've got some YouTube ones. So first one is apparently I had the same point as Carolyn Hines. So I'm sorry, Carolyn. I didn't know that you had already said it, but we have similar names, so you said it. Like maybe we think alike, but I guess we both had the same Adam question. So that's the first one. And then I saved some of your guys' comments from earlier. We've got Eric Simmons, who wants to know, do you think that Alex is a spy for Malcolm?
Absolutely.
see, I think he's a spy for Damien Darhk.
He's a spy. There's no question about that. The question, I guess, is for who? I think Malcolm makes more sense.
And then the other one that we have is Martin. I can't say your last name. I'm really sorry. But Martin S. says, when Constantine says you're magic, you are magic. So he thinks that Damien Darhk is absolutely magic in this incarnation on the CW.
Yep.
And then, let's see. Teen Titan comment from earlier, we've got Christopher Ross, who says that Beast Boy's old team, one of the baddies on that is going to be on Legends, but he forgot the name, and I'm not sure because I'm new to Teen Titans. So, Christopher, if you want to jump in on that, that'd be awesome. But then that kind of like contradicts the Constantine magic thing, because if they're going to play into the Teen Titan storyline, you know,
There's a disconnect.
Yeah, there's a bit of a
totally.
disconnect in how they portrayed Darhk.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thanks for chatting with us live on YouTube. Right now, Linda's going to do some Twitter shout-outs and see what the Twitterverse is telling us.
Twitter. Malcolm, again, I think we addressed this, talking about Alex being a spy for Malcolm. So I think we talked about that. Fatal Shocker wants to know, what are your thoughts on what is happening to Darhk when he's touching Speedy and his power ends up backfiring on him?
Well, we kind of touched on that just before, right, with the Lazarus Pit and how it's probably just reversing everything. You know, Thea did talk about how her bloodlust went away, so I think that maybe the bloodlust has to do with actually taking the life force out of somebody, and so as a result of what she went through in the pit, I'm thinking when Damien Darhk tries to do that magic on her, it's reversed because she's got that magic in her, and that's pulling the life force out of him, so that's satisfying her bloodlust. That's my thought, anyhow.
I agree with you. Lara Elms wants to know, is it possible that Felicity's father is working for Hive to unlock the box?
Felicity's father is working for Hive to unlock the box. Well, we don't know who he is yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sure, it's possible.
Anything's possible on this show, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
No one ever dies, really dies. They always come back, and we don't know who her father is yet, but I won't be surprised if it's someone that we've not met before or we have met before. You just never know.
I think Felicity's dad is Vandal Savage.
Whoa. So hold on. So she's the daughter of an immortal.
Yeah.
Interesting thought. Interesting theory. Could be. You never know. Are we out of Twitters? Do we have some more?
We have
more
one
tweets?
or two more. The Bonetti Army wants to know if you think Thea can actually stop dark magic, which is a little bit of what you talked about.
Right.
And
I hope so. That'd
Me
be
too.
cool. It'd be cool to see.
I read somewhere, someone was like, well, no, you know, now Damien Darhk can't kill Thea. And I'm like, well, no, he can't do it by touching her, but I think he can, he still has his magic. It's still a thing where now that he knows that it doesn't work on her, he's going to try to stay away from her. So it's a matter of now getting her in close,
Right.
which may prove to be difficult. So we'll see what happens.
I think this is just unlocking the beginning of whatever and more. And I have one last one, Knock Knock Joan, just because it's more of a shout out. Knock Knock Joan saying, I'm really into this bloodlust thing. I don't know what that says about me. Arrow.
Well, we're not going to say what that says about you. It says you love the
like
show.
some good action.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm playing around. All right, guys, do subscribe to theStream.tv right there. You can tweet at us all week using the hashtag ArrowAfterShow. And we won't be here next week, obviously, because it's Thanksgiving. But in 2 weeks, we have our insane Flaro crossover, and it's going to be epic. So join us then.
Because we're crossing over,
We are.
too.
Yes, we're going to be crossing the shows. So you're going to see Arrow After Show people on the Flash and Flash After Show people on Arrow, and it's just going to be a complete Flaro medley. So join us.
Yeah.
Happy
So
Thanksgiving.
excited.
And we'll
Happy
see you after that.
Thanksgiving.
Enjoy.
Have a great one.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Bye.
Bye.